Good morning. Let's see. Good morning from South Texas this morning. um, I made a video. I don't know if you. I uploaded a video a few days ago or a week ago, something like that, and realized that after going back and playing the video a time or two, I realized that I had touched on about, I don't know, 20 or 25 things throughout that video, covering a lot of ground, if you will, in that video about longbows and recurves and that kind of stuff. And I decided that it might be worthwhile to kind of break that up a little bit. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I think I got about, in a couple of days, I got about 75 views or something like that, and 4 or 5 people liked my video. So, I said, well, you know, that's actually, frankly, that's more than I expected. But out of those 75 people, if one person heard something in that video that helped them, uh, that's good. And that's what that was my whole goal of making the video to start with. I see a lot of videos, I see a lot of comments and forums and things like that, and sometimes some of them may not be as helpful. Some of them are extraordinarily good videos and comments and things like that. And sometimes stuff gets off in the weeds, and then but people, sometimes they're working under the assumption that this person already knows other factors in what they're talking about that can affect what they're discussing. So what I've decided to do is kind of make a series of videos. They're going to be a little bit shorter, obviously. They're going to kind of tackle one topic at a time, I guess, if you want to look at it that way. I'll try not to be as windy as I was in the first video, but I definitely I love bow hunting. I've been doing it all my life. And I want, if other people that enjoy bow hunting or want to enjoy bow hunting or just enjoy archery in period. You don't have to hunt if you just want to shoot a bow. All this stuff is for you. There are people that are beginners that have never shot a longbow or recurve. There are people that already are shooting, and sometimes we get lost in the weeds and in all these discussions about stuff. And there's people that are wanting to transition from a different style of archery, whether it's compounds or whatever, to longbows and recurves. I am not a competition archer with where they stand at a specified distance in a room and they shoot for points and stuff like that. I've never done that. I think they call that bear bow competition or whatever. I don't do that. If that's what you're trying to do, then you need to go find another channel that actually addresses that type of archery, because there's very specific things that they do that I don't have any knowledge about, and I don't not that I don't like it, that's not what I do. I'm talking about shooting, enjoying shooting, and bow hunting. That's what this is about. Anyway, this series is going to be about eliminating variables. Okay, if you take that approach, number one, it may help you proceed through the process a little faster. Number two, it's probably, hopefully, going to save you some money and time again. And I said it about 20 times in the first video. I'm not an expert, but I do have a lot of experience, and if I can help you get past some of this stuff quicker and more efficient, that's what I'm trying to do here. Anyway, okay. Eliminating variables. The whole goal of these videos is to take all your problems and bring it down to here where you're going to enjoy your bow and you're hunting or you're shooting in the backyard or whatever it is you do. I would say that there's a deer walking across right there. Sorry, I got distracted. The number one thing that you probably should tackle, in my opinion, is your bow. Okay. And the description down at the bottom or whatever of the video, I said bow weight or bow draw weight is all in your head, and in some ways that's true. Obviously, there's some physical stuff, but a lot of times people or things get in your head about what draw weight you need to hunt with or shoot or whatever. Here's my opinion of the real story. You get invited to a hunting camp, you go to a range somewhere, you go to your local archery shop, you call up a bowyer on the phone, whatever. And there's about, I don't know, 1,700,000 opinions about what bow you need to say hunt deer with, or to hunt with in general, what the draw weight should be, and on and on and on. I'm going to try to clarify a little bit of that. Your bow weight is absolutely an individual thing to you. When you're at hunting camp and these guys are out there shooting their 55, 65, 75 pound longbows and recurves, and they're shooting, and it's just so smooth, and they're hitting the target every time, and they're just laughing and having a great time. And you say, man, I wish I could do that, or I'd like to do that, or I want to start doing that. Well, you pick up one of these bows and you shoot it 2 or 3 times and say, man, I love it. I just got to get started doing this. Don't let your buddies, don't let your pride, don't let anything dictate what the draw weight of the bow is. Okay? You need a bow, in my opinion, you need a bow that fits you. Okay? To get started off on the right foot. Here, an example, I think everybody's kind of heard this kind of thing before. An example is you're shooting a 75 pound whatever compound bow, and you want to start shooting longbows and recurves. So first thing you do is you run down and buy a 75 pound longbow or recurve. It's not necessarily a good idea. The form is different, the process is different, the draw weight, we all know that there's let off on compounds and not on these bows. So that transition is going to be a little bit more difficult, especially if you're trying to shoot the same draw weight as you were as your compound. All right. Someone that's never shot a bow, or just getting started shooting longbows and recurves, again, there are some good starting points. The people that have been hunting and shooting these type bows for years and years and years, they all have their perspective on how to do that. The biggest thing is you need to develop your own perspective about how to do that. Now, I would suggest shoot their bows if you can handle it, and it's comfortable for you, and you're not struggling too much. I mean, you have to develop a little bit of a shot process anyway. I don't care what the draw weight is. I mean, you might struggle with a 30-pound bow, but just because of the mechanics of it. Once you've kind of developed that a little bit, and you can pull a 45-pound bow, and you can hit the target regularly at 20 yards, don't be afraid to start there. If 55-pound bow fits you fine, that's the one that you need to shoot to get started anyway. Now, if you want to go to the gym and work out for 2 or 3 years or whatever, and build up your muscles in your chest and your back and your shoulders and everything else, and you want to shoot a 110-pound longbow, knock yourself out. Okay? I mean, it's like I said, it's up to you what you want to do. Me, I don't have time for that. I'm too old for it. I don't have, I just don't have time for it. I'd rather spend all my time out here in this brush chasing these hogs and deer and turkeys and whatever else. So, that said, get a bow that fits you. All right? What I mean by fit you is a bow that you can pull comfortably, shoot comfortably, and doesn't fatigue you too fast. I mean, any bow, until you get used to shooting this type of bow, any bow will eventually wear you out, but if you can shoot consistently, you know, 2 or 3 rounds of arrows, and you're consistently hit the target, and then all of a sudden the arrows start kind of impacting the different places. You go put it down, you come back to it, and you can, again, after a little while, an hour or two, you can start hitting the target again. That bow's probably something that you can work with. You want to create problems for yourself, run down there and get you a 75, or you know, something that's way overbowed for you. You know, if you're and you start shooting this bow that's way too heavy for you, when you finally decide that that bow's too heavy and you drop down and draw weight, I can almost guarantee, I don't like to say it never happens or it always happens or anything, but you can almost guarantee you that you're going to drag along all those bad habits that you develop trying to shoot a bow that's too heavy for you when you get the bow that actually fits you. So try to avoid that if you can. Now, bow weight, again, from a hunting standpoint, okay? My draw length is 29.5, 30 inches, okay? I can comfortably shoot a 50 or 55 pound bow. I can hunt anything I want to with it, with a hunting weight arrow and a sharp broadhead. I can hunt anything I want to with it. There's been too many animals, there's too many studies done. There's been, you know, I've done this over years, you know, decades with bows, and I can tell you that if an animal is hit properly, okay, if an animal is, and you have the right, a very sharp broadhead and a heavy enough arrow to penetrate that animal, you will take the animal. You will collect the animal. If you hit it in the nose or the foot, I don't care what kind of bow you're shooting, you're going to lose the animal. So people that tell you, well, you need a 65 pound bow to go deer hunting, that's just not true. That's just not true at all. What you do need is the right combination of bow and arrow, okay? I think I said it in the other video. There's 2 examples that I'll show that I know happened because I saw one of them and I did one of them, so I can tell you. The first one is Fred Eichler. I just saw the video about a month ago. He shot a cow elk with a 40 pound recurve, and she was dead in 10 seconds. Okay, she fell down right there where he could see her. All right, undisputable, it happened. You know, myself, I contacted a bowyer that I know, that I've began to develop a relationship. He's a nice man, great guy, and great bowyer, and just very nice. But he's got about a year waiting list on his bows, and he had a bow in his shop. This was back in the summertime. He had a bow in his shop that was a little lighter than what I wanted, but it was the exact model, same length. It was 42 pounds at 28 inches. So at my draw length, it was more like 47 pounds, something like that. Told him, send it to me. I want to hunt with it. I want to shoot it. I want to hunt with it. He sent it to me. I bought it. He sent it to me. I took it home. I made a string for it. I went out in the yard, shot 150, 200 arrows, got all the creep and stretch and everything out of the string. Got in my truck, drove to the ranch that evening, and killed a hog with it. Dead. Hog didn't make it 30 feet. I mean, I shot the heart out of that hog. Now, that's not to say if you hit a 300-pound boar on the shoulder, it's not going to penetrate like that. You know, and I'll talk about some of that stuff in some other videos. But don't let the bow weight dictate to you what your decision in getting your first bow. You know, thinking that you're going to buy one bow and you're going to hunt with it forever. All right. You need to start with something that you're comfortable with, get accurate with it, get used to it, get everything together, get your form and everything else, and then over a period of time, if you're wanting something else or you feel like you can handle something else, then go do that. Because number one, when you're overbowed, and I know I'm reiterating myself, but number one, if you get a bow that's too heavy for you, you're going to create yourself an unimaginable amount of problems. I had a bow, another case in point, I had a bowyer. I called it, it's been 30 some years ago, I called a bowyer up and said, I want this bow and I want it at this draw weight. He said, well, how tall are you? I said, well, I'm 6'3". And back then, I said, well, I weigh. He said, well, how much you weigh? I said, well, I weighed about 210 pounds, you know, something like that. He says, man, you're a big old boy. He said, you ought to be able to pull 65, 70 pounds easy. Well, 30 years ago, I was 26, 27 years old. And he's a professional bowyer, so why not listen to the guy? I said, all right, build me what you think I need. He sent it to me. Worst mistake I ever made. I got that bow out there, and I was bound and determined, probably for too long, to shoot that bow. As a matter of fact, I did kill some animals with it. I killed some hogs and a couple of deer and stuff like that. But I didn't realize I could never shoot that bow comfortably for any length of time. I mean going out in the yard and practicing shooting 2 or 3 arrows and hanging it up, go get them and stuff like that. I couldn't enjoy it like that. I don't mean standing there just shooting arrow after arrow after arrow. Any bow will wear you out like that. But just to try to, you know, work on things and making sure you got yourself ready to hunt, it was pretty difficult with that bow. And I finally, after, I don't know, a season or two or whatever, and I had other bows, I got to where I wasn't hunting with that bow. I was hunting with a different bow. And I'm like, man, I got all this money hanging on the wall and I don't even use it. Eventually, I sold that bow to somebody that wanted a bow that heavy. You know, don't let your buddies, don't let a bowyer, don't let your pride or anything else be a factor in choosing your bow and bow weight. These bows, generally speaking, and I'm not going to call out a range of draw weights, but almost any draw weight and length of bow with a proper arrow and a proper point on it, right combination of all these things, is a deadly weapon and you can hunt with it. I'm certainly not suggesting go and take a 20-pound target bow with a 700 grain arrow and a broadhead that's this big on it and go out in the woods and hunt with it. It's you get to reach a point at some point where it's diminishing returns. That's what I'm trying to say. Your range is greatly reduced, and you know, I'm not saying you can't kill a deer with a 20-pound bow. I'm not saying that at all. I am saying that you want to try to optimize the performance of the bow as best you can without, there's a fine line, without going too far where you're creating a situation for yourself where you get bad habits. Okay, and I'll talk about some more of this stuff in some other videos. Different draw lengths versus and different lengths of arrows, different weights of arrows, and different arrow materials. I'll talk about all that stuff in some other videos. But this video is actually kind of a follow-up to the first video and a part 2, if you will. I'll kind of pick some topics, and if you guys have any stuff that you actually want to talk about, let me know in the comments. Thank you for I don't know, I think I had 4 or 5 subscribers already. That's great. If you guys have any questions, or if you want to talk about a specific thing, draw weights, arrows, whatever, let me know. Once we have tackled the whole bow situation, got everybody, hopefully helped someone or helped some people with these issues, I'll talk about arrow tuning, and I'll talk about wood arrows versus carbon arrows and stuff like that. I think probably one of the next videos that I put out, I'm going to talk a little bit about arrow tuning. There's a lot of videos out there about how to do that, whether it's paper tuning, bear shaft tuning, and so on and so forth. There's a way that I do it. I didn't invent it, but some people may be already doing it and don't even realize they're doing it. I'm just, kind of try to help people understand the process. So, just to try to get you guys shooting good and enjoying what you're doing. So anyway, thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, leave a comment down below and I'll try to address them. Right now I'm not overwhelmed with thousands or millions of views or anything like that, so I'll try to answer any questions that you guys may have. And thank you for the subscriptions. We'll see what happens on the next video. We'll talk to you later.